Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I'm here today with my friend Shelley Kaehr, and we've got some really exciting stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the Lemurian seed crystals, okay? And if you're interested in crystals or interested in Atlantis or the Lemurian people, this is a show to share. So you definitely want to check this one out. This is going to be really interesting. So Shelley's here today, but before I bring her on, really quickly, I just want to talk about a couple of things that I pulled up that is happening in humanity today. This was really interesting, so I want to get it out. It says, former BLM leader sounds off on group's ugly truth, and it says the founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul, Minnesota, recently released a video in which he called out the group's ugly truth. Now, by which he meant their positions on family and education. So in 2015, he said, I was the founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul, said Rashid Turner, who now leads the Pro School Choice Group Minnesota Parent Union. He said, I believe the organization stood for exactly what the name implies, Black Lives Do Matter. However, after a year on the inside, I learned they had little concern for rebuilding Black families, he added. Now, this goes on, but you guys need to check this out because he's talking about the real deal, and he did a YouTube video, so you might want to check that out. The other thing I want to say, good news today, childhood sweethearts, I pulled this up, marry in real life version of The Notebook, united after 22 years. I love a good love story. So here we go. Childhood sweethearts have married in a real life version of The Notebook after 22 years apart. He even proposed with the engagement ring he gave her when they were 15. Oh my God. Helen Marshall and Graham Richardson are both in their early 40s, and they met in school and admired each other from across the hallway before they fell head over heels in young love as teens. After 9 months of romantic walks, school discos, and sneaking off to the wee kiss round back the bike sheds, oh my gosh, he got down on his knee and proposed, but their parents were worried they were too young, and the engagement never happened. So Graham went off to college in 94, and obviously you know how the story ends. They got back together. You can check this out, you guys. I go to Good News. And so they found each other. And how fabulous is this? And there's actually a picture. It's really cool. And if you're watching me on YouTube, I'll show you. It's really, look at that. Isn't that awesome?
Cute.
Isn't that awesome? Okay, cool. So there you have it. Well, Shelley Kaehr is here today, and let me give you a little information about Shelley if you don't know who she is. Dr. Shelley Kaehr, also known as the Past Life Lady, is one of the world's leading authorities on energy healing and mind-body medicine. A past life regression practitioner in private practice for 20 years, Shelley received her PhD in parapsychology science from the American Institute of Holistic Theology, and as a certified clinical hypnotherapist, master hypnotist, and master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. Easy for me to say. Today we'll be talking about Lemurian seed crystals. Welcome back to High Road to Humanity, Shelley.
Hey, Nancy, thank you so much for having me. I love that little romantic story you shared. That is so sweet.
Well, there's
I love
going
it.
to have some good news out there, you know, with all the craziness happening in the world today, Shelley. Talk about Lemurian and why you decided to write this book. And I don't have a copy of the book today, but you guys, you can pick it up on Amazon, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk to me.
I wrote this book several years ago, and it continues to be really one of the best-selling books I have.
Yay.
I wrote many, many books about gem and mineral healing in the earlier part of my career. And so I used to make an annual pilgrimage to the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. I live in Dallas now. So I would drive out to Tucson every year, go to the show. And so I was going out there one year, several years ago, and my friends were telling me about these special crystals that had ties to Lemuria.
Mhm.
And they were telling me this, and I thought to myself, this sounds like a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I have
Right.
never heard anything as silly as this. And then we went out to the show that year, and I stumbled upon a big batch of these. And the minute I held them, I don't know, something just clicked. And I said, oh my gosh, this is for real. I came home and I just basically channeled this book, put it out, and it
Okay.
continues to be again like a hit. For whatever
Gosh,
reason, people are
yeah,
resonating.
no, I think it's, I read part of it yesterday and I took your class. You guys, she has a really cool class if you're interested in taking it on the Lemurian seed crystals. No, this whole thing just amazes me because I would like to go to Mount Shasta. After reading this, I thought, okay, talk about Mount Shasta because that's where they originated. So if I go there today to Mount Shasta in California, could I actually buy one of these Lemurian crystals and because it would be the most authentic, right?
It's got really good vibes over there in Mount Shasta, because one of the things the book is talking about is just, the Lemurians were these I consider them now to be interdimensional beings, but at one time it was thought that they were predating the Atlanteans, and they're very high frequency, loving vibration beings who were potentially originating over like where the Hawaiian Islands are now and
Right.
Oceania, and then they started migrating toward the east. And so it's believed by some people that if you go to Mount Shasta in California, which I had the wonderful experience of going to right before I wrote this book, there's amazing energy there. It's just unlike anything else on Earth. And they believe that there's a network of tunnels under the earth there where these interdimensional beings still exist. And there's just a special frequency there. So yeah, I bought some crystals there myself. Very, very amazing. I think you would flip your lid over it. It is wonderful.
Hey, I'm gonna go. I think after reading this, I have to tell you, it just really made me want to go. And I thought, and I want to talk about some of the history and some of the information are in these stones that they left for us while we're talking on the show. Let's rewind a little. So Lemurians came before the Atlanteans. So from what I understand from what you talked about, and you channeled this, they were here and they were beings that were looking for a planet and they ended up here on Earth and they came from somewhere else and they were light beings, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So they came and they settled around, like you said, the Hawaiian Islands, possibly Tahiti, somewhere around in there, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, I've been to Tahiti. It's pretty cool.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's,
that
I
sounds good.
know, right? But anyway, so then you talk about in the book, and we have a lot to talk about, so I kind of want to get this out. They were so advanced. And what struck me so that this whole thing was, and I've never heard this before, they were the ones who developed the dinosaur.
Right. They were really here before that, because there's a thought, and I see this a lot when I do past life regressions on people. Some
Okay.
people can regress back so far
Okay.
that they are like little balls of light out in the universe. And so at some point, this consciousness, this formless consciousness decides and makes a decision, we want to embody. And so when they came as Lemurians originally, they were, some of them very, very formless, and then they began adapting into different forms again, long before the dinosaurs and everything. They were
So
here.
that's right. You said they went into little animals. They put themselves. Talk about that.
Yes, they would have been little. There's the ancestors of them, of course, the lemurs,
Okay.
very mystical creatures that we can see in Australia and things like that, or well, we can see them here really in captivity.
Okay.
But some of the smaller creatures, and then they just began kind of evolving into different forms of life. But when you're in these simpler life forms, you're just very pure, you're very loving and
Mhm.
just very filled with light, very, very high frequency, and just emanating love. There isn't, a bunch of issues and nonsense like what we have now. It's just
Right. So
pure
pure
beingness,
love.
loving.
So I just want to understand. So they came down here and they were pure love and they were looking for a place and they were more just energy. So they went into being maybe like a smaller animal like you're talking about. And then how did the dinosaur part? And they were a female energy from what you say. So how did the dinosaur part, did they have anything to do with developing them?
I think that this was
I'm just asking.
what
I
I'm
mean, how did they
hearing.
come?
Since this is
Yeah,
kind of channeled, what I'm hearing is this was probably an opposing energy coming in. Like it's a bit more of a masculine energy coming in
okay.
to, because there's always got to be a contrast, of
Right,
masculine and
right.
feminine energy. Because these were very like loving,
Loving female
smaller
energy.
creatures. This is more of a masculine energy coming in, is what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Because other forms of consciousness are going to want to start coming into the planet as they have, and then these begin then to take off and evolve in different ways over the
But
course of
that,
time.
but that's why they went underground.
Yes, yes.
I
And then
guess is
through
my
different
point.
earth changes and things, and they not only do they go underground, there's a theory that there's tunnels, all over the world
Mm-hmm.
that are currently being occupied by extraterrestrial beings. So I've
Right.
kind of always believed in that
I do too.
through just more of a knowingness. And so, some of these beings went underground, other forms are coming to the planet. And again, I would consider some of the dinosaur energy to be much more of a masculine energy. They're just all kind of clamoring for space and territory. And then through different earth challenges, earthquakes, calamities, etc., the Lemurians continue to go underground. And then you had the development of the Atlanteans and all the other things that went on there. So
Pretty interesting stuff. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Shelley Kaehr. Shelley, tell everybody where they can get your information and how they get in touch with you.
yeah, my website is pastlifelady.com. And if you go there, there's links to my YouTube channel. And then also the Healing Arts School is where I've got my Lemurian Seed class,
Yay.
which includes a copy of the book in the coursework.
Yes, it does. Okay, cool. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Shelley Kaehr. Shelley, this is fascinating for me. I read this and I just thought this was really fascinating. You also talked, there were so many, because you talk about the riches here on Earth before we get into the crystals a little bit more. That so many, you were saying so many of these different entities from different worlds came here because the earth is so rich with gold and so rich with the crystals and all of those things. And they found out that the crystals grow here. Can you talk about that?
Yes, the crystals are needed by different interdimensional species. And so if people are familiar with Zecharia Sitchin's work, the 12th planet, there's this idea that there are beings out there. They need to come to Earth. They found out we have gold, we have these crystals, they need them to power their systems. And I hope that we take time to pause and realize what a beautiful, rich planet we have. We still have a rich, beautiful planet.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly others are coveting this space from different parts of the universe.
Yeah. Well, I've been having a lot of shows recently. I don't know if you knew that or not about the Galactics. And yeah, it's been really interesting. I had Gene Decode on Friday, and he actually shows some pictures of some of the galactics, and it was really interesting. So you'll need to check that out. And he shows how they had beautiful opalescent wings because he decodes it, and then they went to the dark side, and then they have really small wings. And a couple of them were at one of his sessions and went to the light, and their wings are coming back.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
So you got to check that show out. I'm just want to say this, it's interesting. Like the last 3 or 4 shows I've done have all been about the extraterrestrials, the galactics, because I think that it's going to come out pretty quick. I think more and more people, and then the sightings are coming out. I don't know if you've noticed in the news. Have you noticed that, Shelley?
Yeah, because really at the beginning of my career, I was contacted by an extraterrestrial,
I'll tell the
who,
story.
a
I'll tell.
blue being, and I developed something called Galactic Healing after I was shown these healing techniques. This is before I got
Oh
into
my
the
gosh.
Lemurians.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
was driving to New Mexico. I was going to work as a energy healer, and I stopped to take a little power nap at a rest stop. There wasn't anyone there. I closed
Where
my eyes.
at? Since I'm in New
This was
Mexico.
let
I'm
me see.
curious.
Well, I was on my way to Albuquerque. I was really on my way to
Okay.
Santa Fe. So it was kind of
Okay.
out before you get to Albuquerque, west of Moriarty. You know where that
Okay.
is.
Sure.
I haven't gotten that somewhere out there. I stopped the car Nobody's out there. I closed my eyes and this whoosh, I saw this blue being come into my mind's eye. So when I got to the spa, the girl behind the front desk said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but there's a blue lady who's standing behind you." And I was going, "Holy cow," because I wasn't even going to tell anyone. I
Oh
thought I
my
was having a
God.
weird dream. And so over the course of several years, this being showed me a lot of different things about healing. And I ended up developing a healing modality. I've got binary healing now. That was definitely extraterrestrial inspired. And I think you're right that right now, they're talking about full disclosure. First of all, I don't get it. I thought we already knew that. I already thought everybody knew this already. This is kind of old news to me, but
I
I
think it's
guess the
gonna,
rest of the world needs to get on board.
yeah,
So
I
there's
guess.
aliens. Yes, they want to help us. And see, the Lemurians, what they were then in the past
Right.
is maybe different than what they are now. I consider them to be some kind of extraterrestrial form of interdimensional beings who are very, very loving and high frequency. They're coming here, they're speaking to us through these crystals
Right.
because we are in a very critical time right now, as
I
you know. I mean, everything's getting ready to open up and we're going to be shown things that are pretty amazing, I think.
I agree. That's why I bring it up. And thanks for telling that story, Shell. I mean, and I have to say, I like it in New Mexico. I mean, I like the water, but
Yeah,
there's a feeling here. I can't explain it. It's like, it's a comfort. It's a comfort energy, a comfortable energy. I don't know what to say. Yeah, because
you're
all the
right.
it's the Native Americans here and the mountain. If you've never been, you guys, it's the Sandia Mountains. And then and I have a beautiful deck and I can see them. And at in the evening time, the sun shines on them and they're pink. And that's what Sandia means. It means watermelon. And so that's what that means, the watermelon mountains, because they're pink in the evening. It's beautiful here. It really
It
is.
is.
It's
And that's something we
majestic.
share because I was born there and my family, a lot of them still live there. It's a special place. And
It
I think when
is.
you're in that area, you have just an inner knowing. It just is what it is. It's just
Mhm.
normal.
Isn't that weird, Shelley? That's really cool.
It
Well, let's get
is.
back to the crystals. I want to talk about this. So the whole idea was, and how do you know this? I want to understand. How do you know they hold information and where are they? They're strategically placed. They left information in crystals so that when this time came, that we could obtain that. Talk about that.
Yeah, this again, let me remind everyone, when I first heard this, I said, "You got to be kidding." And then I held the crystals and they kind of open up to you and they begin to communicate. And I said, "Oh my gosh, this is for real." And they
Mhm.
were showing me that many, was it millennia ago? I don't know. These interdimensional beings, again, we talked about they're coming in from different planets. They're trying to get riches and get different things that they need here. They've
Minerals.
left behind. It would almost be like you went out today and you planted seeds in the garden this spring so that you could have some flowers this summer. So they planted these seeds and they grew up into these crystals, and inside them, they infused them with interdimensional consciousness. It would be just the same as like you're running your computer right now or your cell
Okay.
phone or whatever you're running. There's little chips in there that have
Mhm.
information embedded. This might be about your
Okay.
Netflix account, but what they left behind was more of a universal loving nature so that when they grew up, they can be discovered at different times around the world. And just by holding them, working with them, observing them, it kind of unleashes this
That
frequency
energy. Yeah, that frequency.
that helps everyone.
Right. That raises the vibration, which is what we need right now. Yeah, I'm really into that. Well, I'm into the whole energy thing, and that's what they're meant for, is to, so have you heard of people finding them, or are people trying to mine them, or is this just something that's going to happen and there's nothing we can, I mean, it's happening now, or how do we know?
There's different pockets of them. Back, I think this book came out in about 2006. And back
Mhm.
when I was doing a lot of that exploration, I was traveling in different parts of the world. And I had been out in like India and Nepal, and I saw some out in Nepal. I was very surprised.
Really?
I ran across some that had come from Russia. So I think they're almost like well, there's a saying, that God gave us everything we need, but
Right.
our brains, only hold 7 chunks of information at any time. So we can't notice everything. That's why we're still always making new discoveries. So as, the consciousness shifts and evolves, which it is doing so quickly now, you just
Mhm.
start to see different pockets of these kind of popping up all over the planet.
Okay, cool. You have one to show us.
I do. these crystals are very temperamental and they don't always want to be seen. So this guy said, hello, I'll be on TV today. So they don't look
Okay.
like, this is what's weird though. I mean, look at this. This doesn't really look like anything, but
No.
there's a feeling, I'm telling you, it's just like a beautiful, warm energy. And it's,
Okay.
I guess it's hard for people, I would say to viewers and listeners, you've got to get these from people who you trust, because you
Mhm.
sometimes, if you're not super sensitive to energy, it's hard to discern whether
Mhm.
this is a seed crystal or just any other crystal. I
Right.
still say the most important thing is, though, if you see a crystal and you pick it up and you feel drawn to it, then that's happening for a reason, whether it's a Lemurian seed or not. But
Mhm.
you can go to different shops. I have been to certain shops in the past where I've sensed, okay, these are marked as seeds. I don't think that's what they actually are. And then other times I say, oh, look, there they are, so I
How
have some right
expensive are
now.
they? I don't mean to interrupt you. How
How
expensive
expensive?
are they? Yeah.
They're like, these are like $40. So
Okay.
it's not horrible. I mean, they're a
Yeah.
little bit more than a regular crystal because of this kind of vibration they have about them.
Okay. I have a
So,
lot of crystals, but I don't think I have one of those. I did pull this one up, but you probably can't see it. But it had the lines in it. I don't know if you
oh,
can
let
see it.
me see.
Had the lines in it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so I thought maybe, but I don't.
Yes.
Is it one or
I don't
not?
sense that it is. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't know.
why.
This one I wanted to ask you. I see. I get free information. You guys know. I'm just teasing, but this is something I bought. This is a really cool
Ooh.
wand, and this is made of Moldavite, and this is Moldavite. And if you guys don't know what Moldavite is, it came from a meteorite. It's very powerful. But what I'm asking about is the orange. See my orange inside this crystal.
Yes.
What is that? I've always
Um,
wondered, and that's why I ask you.
yeah, the Moldavite, I gotta say, that's an extraterrestrial stone, folks, because it came from it's in a meteor in Czechoslovakia that the material fell to Earth. So that's amazing. But
I
in the
bought this in
crystal,
Albuquerque, believe it or not.
wow, that
Yeah,
is awesome.
yeah,
That little orangish
yeah.
inclusion, like in quartz crystal, amethyst and citrines are quartz also. And
Okay.
this is kind of an inclusion that gets embedded in different stones depending on whether the light's hitting it and things. So there's an inclusion there, and it looks like that's probably a citrine.
Well, Moldavite, and I don't mean to bring that, is a very powerful stone, and you have to be careful with Moldavite. Just FYI.
Yeah, it's like a chocolate covered espresso bean of the mineral kingdom. It'll
Be
send you into
careful.
orbit. I think it goes, hello, I'm here. Come pick me up. I'm ready to go.
I
Here's a
know.
little seed crystal.
Let me see.
I don't know if people can see him, but see, he's got some little inclusions in him. In the book, I talk about like these, when any crystal that has these little lines in it, it's almost like tree
Right.
rings, like they're embedding consciousness and information just the same way. If we could go out and talk to the trees, every ring that's in the tree, represents a year that it was here, that, so there's information embedded in these. And so we can hold them and kind of just allow that. It doesn't have to be like I'm getting a message. It's just more like you're getting an activation of sorts that's kind of opening
Okay.
your energy field.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time, even through meditation, through crystals, through just being mindful, when we can become more peaceful within ourselves and then show up in the world a little bit better than we were before, then everybody around us has to kind of respond in kind, and then we can all kind of shift together. And so it's just a tool for shifting consciousness, which, we're attempting to do at this time, as you know.
That makes it easier. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Shelley Kaehr. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Dr. Shelley Kaehr. Shelley, I'm so glad you came on. You're so interesting, and I love all the information you give us. Okay, I have more. Do you have more to show us? Because I have more to ask you.
Let me see if anyone else is here. Oh,
You're
here's
so
one.
cute.
This
Show
is
us
not
another one.
This is not a seed crystal. Okay, but this, I don't
What
know if
is
he's
it?
going to let us. Oh, earlier he was disappearing. I've got a green screen behind me so that I can come to you from space.
I
Some
love
of
it.
these will disappear. This is my stone that he likes to be on shows with me,
That's great. I love it.
because that's the other thing. Like, all crystals can be used to help you with different activities. You just have to
Right,
ask them. This one likes to
right.
be on radio shows. Hi, Nancy. No. I treat these like
Yeah.
their little pets. But this guy likes to be on shows,
I
which I don't
love
even
it.
think you've known that before, Nancy. So yes.
I love it. I love it. And well, it's the energy. It's the energy. Okay, so I have another one I'm going to ask you about just because I grabbed it. This one, and I can't remember what it is, but it has the amethyst coming out the top.
Oh, that's spirit quartz.
And what does this do? Because I feel a real strong, I feel strongly about this.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's kind of it brings groups together. It would be like a unity stone, which is good. It's perfect for what you do because your show is reaching people and you're bringing people
Okay.
together in
Okay.
kind of like mind and in great, wonderful purposes. It's a very sweet stone.
Okay. Now I have a couple more. Just a
Okay.
regular, is this just, and I keep these by my computer. These are the ones I keep near mostly this is I keep on my computer. I just do this because I think, and I'll show you what else I keep. And I'm just showing the audience because it's fun. And rocks are my favorite thing. You probably didn't figure that out yet, but rocks, I know. So I keep these on my computer because it clears the energy and the vibration. So that's what I do here with these crystals, you guys, just so you know. Talk about this a little bit, Shell.
Well, I
As
mean, yeah, somehow, again, this is subconsciously you and these crystals have worked it out that they're going to sit next to your computer and just help
Mhm,
things run better.
mhm.
you
And they
know,
do.
Yeah. And also that would be not only even technologically or electronically, but I think like you've had that darker stone there, which might be a tourmaline. I don't know. I
It
couldn't
is.
see for sure. Yeah.
This
So tourmaline is a very psychically protective stone. So
Mhm.
having that there can also not only just the electronics, but just we talk to the whole world through these computers now, obviously.
Yeah.
We were doing it before, but now we're doing it at a level that we've never done before. So this is also just setting the tone that, it's setting a protected space around you while
Right.
you're working on the computer with the world.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I'll show you one. And my daughter got me this, and a lot of people have these.
Ooh, oh, an ergon
Yeah.
generator,
And
orgone generator, I guess.
Aragon or what Aragon. Yeah, I put this on the computer because of the energy. And you guys, this is copper on top, and it has copper, and it's in this plastic, which is the most bizarre thing, but it's in crystals and it's all set up that way. And she didn't know. She just knows I like rocks. So she got it for my birthday last year. Yeah, she knew, but
Very
intuitively she
good.
must have known, you know what I mean? And so these are good for the computer, and I want to tell people that because this will keep the energy clear.
Definitely. The copper coils, it just sends out frequencies. And also you can lay them on the body if you wanted to do that periodically. And it just kind of
Oh,
clears the energetic fields out. Very, very
oh,
powerful. I've
okay.
got
I love
some more
this.
on here.
This is fun.
Ooh, here's my little skeleton bracelet.
Now,
But here, this is kind of like
what is
this
that?
bracelet has coral and tourmaline underneath this metal, and
Right.
it's building up the field, building up the energetic field.
Now, what do you have on your neck today?
This one, this is weird because the green screen, this is actually a turquoise, but you can't see it. So this is my
Okay.
little Thunderbird. This came from New Mexico.
Oh, it is New Mexico. Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell. You're right. Okay, but now I
But
see it.
and then this was made by some Hopis out
Yeah.
in New Mexico. Very beautiful. It's got a little cosmology on it. I don't think people can see it though, because the green screen's making this look
Well, I
like
can see it.
onyx.
Yeah, it
So
does
I
look
was
like
"Hey,
onyx
that's
right
cool."
now. Yeah, it does look like onyx, black
It makes
onyx
it
right
look
now.
it looks like I've got a brand new necklace.
Oh, you're so funny. Now, when you come out to New Mexico, and I need to get see if they'll come on, some of the guys from the tribe to see if they'll come. It's hard to get onto the reservations. I've done some real estate deals with some of the Native Americans out here, believe it or not.
Wow.
But yeah, which was one of the most interesting, fun, magnificent deals I've ever done. But I would like to get them on to talk about some of this stuff. Have you ever had an opportunity to talk to them about some of the extraterrestrials, galactics and some of the energy here in New Mexico?
I haven't in this capacity. When I grew up in New Mexico, my dad had managed a company that made a lot of the Native American style jewelry. So we had a lot of Native American friends when I was a kid. But as an adult in this capacity, like what you're talking about, no, I haven't
Yeah, I
had that
just
opportunity.
think it would be interesting. We should do
It'd
it,
be
Shelley.
amazing.
Yeah, when you come out. I want to talk about in this book, you have, and if it's okay, can I read them? Or if you want to read them from the book, however you want to do it. You were given a download and there are 12 keys of life.
Yes.
Can I read them?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have the book on me right
No,
now.
it's fine. This was downloaded and she got this information. And I have to tell you, as I was reading this and reading these 12 keys of life, and these were given to you, I believe, and this came through the crystals, correct? When you were channeling.
Yes.
Yeah, this all hit home. Every single one of these. So you guys sit back and relax a second, and I'm going to read these to you. It says, number one, you were made of love. Number two, you are a time traveler from the past, present, and future. That was interesting. Three, you are creating your reality by thought, deed, and action. True. Four, you are living in an abundant world where there is no lack of anything. I wish people could get to that point, don't you, Shell? Five,
Yes.
you can have anything you want simply by believing. Six, you are changing the lives of others just by your presence on earth at this time. I thought that was pretty profound. You are positive and happy, and being that way, you spread the joy to others who are around you. And I thought about you when I read that one.
I would think
That
about
was
you for
probably,
that.
yeah, see, that was probably meant for you. And for me too. You are able to listen to your heart, which tells you everything you need to know. And I always say that, listen to your heart, because it doesn't lie. You cannot change others, only yourself. You have a purpose for being, and by following your path, you help others follow theirs. Because lead by example. And I really like that. You're made up of everything, or I'm sorry, you're made up of every thought, deed, and action that came before you and will come after you. That says a lot about our words and our thoughts and our emotions.
Yes.
And then number 12 says, when you change yourself, you change the whole world in existence now and for all eternity. Those were great.
You know, when I think about that and these beings who told me to write that down, you know, these thoughts are not that complicated. They're not that they're difficult, and yet because they're so simple, they're difficult, if you know what I mean. But yet they're not complicated. They're the things that
No.
I think that we're all striving to do every day. We're doing the best we can out here. Hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah, but I hope and I feel that we're starting to get back. Maybe we'll start to get back some of the integrity, and people will be more honest and decent and kind. We've lost a lot of that, Shelley. And when you
Yes.
read these things, it means a lot to me because I see these things and you see these things, and people are starting to wake up and see these things. But just the first one, you were made of love. People don't realize that. I mean, the average person really doesn't get it. I don't think people are starting to wake up. And I know that's why we're here, because I'm supposed to tell them, what do you think?
I guess I'm thinking about, you know, that we've seen this rash of complete ugliness and nonsense come up after we were all trapped in our houses over the last year. I
Yeah.
think it's been like a festering pot that's just boiled over. And we can say, my gosh, the world's going to heck in a handbasket. But the thing is, I think that to a certain degree, some of that ugly stuff has to come up so that we can get rid of it, you know, or at least be aware that it's there so that we can kind of move on from here. And I think that is, whether we like it, we don't really like seeing all this ugliness, but it has to come up so we can just get it up and get it out of here. And I think it is part of the progression towards what we really want. It's just, you know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like if we wanted to clean the house, we'd have to kind of mess up a few things before we can put it back all together the way we want.
No, I agree with you. I do. And I think people have to see how things really are. And I think it has to get bad enough to really make people uncomfortable.
Unfortunately, people do learn a lot through pain rather than just kind of knowing this would be better to do it this way than that way. We tend to learn through pain. So it's unfortunate, but I still believe, because I always think of, I still always feel positive about the way
I do
things will
too,
work out
Shelley.
eventually. I
I
can't help
know.
it. we've got a choice, we can be
Yeah.
miserable about this, or we can say,
Yeah.
well, thank God we're getting this over with so that we can move on because I know something good is on the way.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do. I do. And I have a good attitude. It's hard to
You do.
watch the news and what's going on, but I also feel like I need to be aware. So it's a catch 22. I watch a little bit, but I try not to get too involved in the whole thing. But let me get back to this. I really like you talk how these are tools. You say to unlock. This is something I wanted to bring up. To unlock these crystals, you press your thumb into the key and listen for the feeling. Talk about putting your thumb and unlocking the key. You really talked about that a lot in the class. Are a lot of these crystals, do they just have a place there where you can put your thumb?
Some of them are more pronounced than others. Let me see this little one that I have.
I thought that
When
was
you
cool.
hold any crystal, like this one's kind of got one here. It's just a little indentation. It's just, you
Yeah.
have to feel these and kind of move them in the hand. There's just a place.
Mm-hmm.
I've always found that when I'm unlocking one, I just like to place my thumb in this, like in this one, it's in this area. There's a tiny indent, which I don't know if the audience can really see, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just a feeling. And again, a lot of this is just a feeling. And you're just kind of sitting here and just letting it kind of open up to you.
They resonate.
Whether it is a Lemurian seed or not, though, your example of the crystals that you have sitting around your computer, there's an example. Somehow you
Mhm.
held them. There was some exchange there. And I think that we're largely unaware, that the crystals really do speak to us. And I
They
feel like
do.
there's little devas and little beings that live in these stones, whether they're Lemurian seeds or not. And they've made an agreement with you. Yeah, sure, Nancy, I'll help you with your computer. That sounds awesome. And so
Mhm.
you just kind of know that that's what they're going to be doing for you. And I feel like, the crystals are tied to these interdimensional beings. I know that the ETs work with them a lot. And I really believe there are a lot of extraterrestrials who are very loving and kind. They're coming here in mass to help humanity right now.
Mhm.
And that's really why the subtitle of the book is Hope for Humanity. There's
I
hope for
know.
humanity, Nancy.
I know, right? That's what I think too. So I have another question. I want to ask you about this selenite. I have selenite all through my house. You guys are going to crack up. I have selenite in my pillow. I put
Yay.
selenite in my pockets. It's in every corner of my house. It's on my computer. I hold it. I'll say what I think, and then Shelley, I want you to talk about it because I just love how you know all this stuff about. But what I know is that it clears me, and I will clear my crown chakra. I clear myself with it. I always tap it on the ground to ground it out to get rid of that negative energy, and then I clear myself with this. Talk to me. What do you know about these?
I absolutely adore selenite, and I love it that it's all over the house and in the pillow and everything. It's amazing because usually I've taught some different gem healing workshops over the years, and I've written
Yeah.
a lot of books about like when we select stones, and like if I use a stone for a long time, it usually needs to be cleansed, like I need to take it outside. But selenite is a magical substance. It's gypsum and it's very, very high frequency. When you lay it on the body, it just brings pure
Mhm.
light into the energetic field. And for
Yeah.
some reason, it never needs to be cleansed. And so you could lay other stones on top of it and it'll clean the other stones. But likewise, when
Oh,
you've got it under the pillow, it's just blasting open those chakra centers and
yeah.
just putting a lot of light in the energy field, whether it's in the house or on the physical person. It's one of the best stones ever.
Ever. And I just want to say it's not expensive. I ordered a bunch of them online and I found out, I don't know why it took me for a year. I didn't know about it. And then I found out about it and I got them all and I was told what to do. And these have been a lifesaver, you guys. So selenite, especially if you're an empath, I put little pieces. I have little ones here. Let me show you. Sometimes they get washed in the washing machine because I put them in my pockets. But I put them in my pockets when I go out in the world. When you're an empath, you pick up other people's energy and it helps. Anyway, we've got to go to commercial break. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Shelley Kaehr. Shelley, this is so much fun. I love rocks. I love stones.
Yeah, me too.
We could do this all day. Talk to me about, and you started to tell a little bit, but I want to talk, and then you can talk about whatever you want on this last segment. But the Lemurians, where are they now? And where do you think some are underneath the ground? Some have gone back home. What do you know?
I know in my mind and in my soul that there are interdimensional beings who are visiting us. And I've always considered the Lemurians to be a group of interdimensional beings who may be, not confined by physical bodies the way we are. I also, though, believe that there are beings who are living underground in places like Mount Shasta, but really in the tunnels that are
In New Mexico
connecting
too.
different places. Oh, New Mexico, yes. There's a lot going on in New Mexico, yes.
What do you know,
Interdimensional.
Shell? Do tell.
I mean, I just know again from growing up there. My parents actually believe they were followed by a UFO before I was born, out in the desert between Roswell and Carlsbad in that area.
Okay.
And I believe they're there.
Yeah, I
Why do
believe
they
they're
come there? I
here.
don't know why, but there's different places on the earth that have kind of different special ley lines.
Mhm.
And the area in New Mexico, when you think about like New Mexico and Arizona and the geological, mineral specimens that are there are very similar to what's over in the Holy Land. Those are very special energies. They're not like any other energies on Earth. And so when we talked earlier in the show about, the vast abundance of, beautiful minerals and different treasures that we have here on Earth, there are many of those that are in
Israel.
Arizona, New Mexico, in Africa is filled with treasures and wonders,
Mhm.
as well as in the Middle East. The geological, makeup there is just different than it is in anywhere else in the world. And I think this is one of the things that's probably drawing them.
Right. And I had asked, and I want to know if you know anything. I think it's Mount Hemus. Is it Hemus in Jerusalem in Israel that they say that has energy that comes from it? I wonder if you knew anything about that. The energy, and then they say the water that comes down there goes into Israel. I was watching, I've been watching Gaia. And so,
Yay!
yay. And it has, yeah. And I was learning about that, about the energy that's in Israel. There's a mountain there, and they say that that's where the extraterrestrials came down first. And maybe that's why Israel has this significance. I wonder if you knew anything about that and what you thought.
I'm going to have to go look up the specific mountain you're talking about. But last year, before the pandemic started, I was in Jerusalem. I flew over there.
Okay.
By the grace of God, I muscle tested when I was supposed to go, and I was
Okay.
told I needed to arrive on the 1st of March and I needed to be back here in Dallas, Texas on the 7th. And so I was like in Bethlehem, and I was there the day before the government shut it down from COVID and stuff. It was a miracle that I was even there. And when I was actually there, because I hadn't been there before, there is an energy there. I mean, you have to,
Mhm.
I guess I was kind of in awe of the level of commitment people have to wanting to secure that piece of property. But
Yeah.
you have to think about even the conflict that's going on over there that's been going on for thousands of years.
Right.
There's something there, I guess worth fighting for to some people.
That's
because it's
that's
very,
why I
very
brought it
powerful.
up. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. I think there's a portal. I think there's an energy. I think it's there. And I do think there are some here in New Mexico. I do think there's some in
Yes.
Sedona. But
Oh, yes.
I know there's one in Laguna Beach, believe it or not. I've been to a portal right there. It's crazy. But there's something about, yeah, and there's that mountain there. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go when things get less crazy. It would be nice to go and check it out and just see, you know.
Absolutely.
I'd
I
be
think
better
that's
off
what
at Mount Shasta right now, I guess.
you can go to Mount Shasta. Now that would be easier to go to than some of these
Oh,
others. Yes. I think that the soul gets drawn to certain places on the planet, either because of these special energies that are there, or because,
mhm,
maybe we've had past lives in those areas. But I can
mhm,
tell you, Nancy, you will not be disappointed with Mount Shasta. When you drive, I was driving down the highway. I was out on a throw the books in the trunk, drive around the country book tour.
right.
You just start coming up on that energy. You see that mountain, it's like, OMG. I mean, it is unbelievably powerful there.
Wow.
Highly recommended.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to check it out. What other messages do you have? We've got a few minutes left on the show that the Lemurians gave you that you'd like to share with the audience, or things that you think might be. I know we have the 12 keys, which was wonderful, but what was something that really, surprised you, maybe that you learned?
Just that I feel like we're all when we're in this physical body, we're so concerned with the exterior world, which really doesn't matter at all. I would like to think that this last year, when we've been trapped in our houses, we're starting to get back out there now, especially in Texas. We're wide open now again. I hope that as we're going out there and rushing to get back to this life that we think we lost, that we hopefully picked up something, in the silence that we've had this last year that can be valuable, because I think that's the message that the Lemurians and other ETs are trying to bring, is that, this is not real. The things that are going on here in the three-dimensional world are not real. We are spiritual beings. We're connected to every single thing. What we do matters, and how we treat others, like you mentioned earlier, the kindness or
Right.
lack of it
Right.
matters, and
Right.
we have to all move forward together as a humanity. And I think that these beings, these loving energies, are here to assist us in becoming more like them, so we can just roll through at kind of a higher frequency, kind of rising above the mundane nonsense that we seem to get all churned up in. We need to get above that and just look at the divinity in all people,
Right.
all the time. We are all,
We're all souls.
worthy of love.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
souls.
Yes.
None is better than the other. No, we have to
know.
get into this kind of a thought, not just thinking about it, but actually just
Knowing
being.
it and living it.
Yes.
Yes. No,
Allowing.
it's true. Since I've been doing this work, I will tell you this. I look at people as souls. I don't look at people. I always look in their eyes.
Yes.
I always look in their eyes to see if I see a light. I look at people's
Absolutely.
eyes, and that's what I do, because the eyes, that's the window to the soul. And when you do this work and you start to realize, and you start to wake up and realize that the material stuff doesn't matter at all, yes, you are correct. It changes you completely, and none of this stuff matters. And you don't worry so much about, how can I say this? Like, how am I going to survive? Because God takes care of you. When you're on this path and you're connected to God, somehow everything gets taken care of. Just like, and I always think about just how the animals and the birds and nature, it all gets taken care of. They don't worry. So
Right.
people get too caught up in, oh my God, I got to make this much money, or oh my God, I got to have this. Well, really, it doesn't matter, because once we leave here, it matters what we did here. And that's how it's determined where we go.
Yeah, and we're infinite beings, so there's
Right.
nothing
So
to be
there's nothing
afraid
red.
of.
I
you know.
know. So it's like, but it does matter. And it matters what you think. And I'm glad you said that, Shell, because it does. It matters what you think, what you say, what you do. What we do here makes a difference. It really does.
It does. Yes.
I know. People don't realize that, but they're starting to. And I'm doing this show, and you're out there talking, and you're doing a couple shows today, I know. What's your next book you got coming up, Shelley?
Coming up in December. I can't wait.
Oh
I've
my
got
gosh.
Blast from the Past.
What is it?
It's Healing Spontaneous Past Life Memories.
Okay.
I identified a phenomenon several years ago I call supretravie, which is a spontaneously induced past life memory. You
Okay.
did not come to the hypnotherapist, but you know who you were because you remember it. And these memories are triggered by travel, or when I meet people I know, like you and I, we know we've known each other before.
Right.
Or, and so we can sometimes, if there's something that needs to be healed, then you use the regression and the guided imagery to heal something, but not to discover it in the first place.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm very excited about this one. I hope people will enjoy it.
No, I'm excited that you're doing it. And I'm really glad you came on today. And you guys go out and get crystals, because they really do have really great energy. So if anybody was going to go out and get a crystal, what do you suggest? I would say get selenite. What would you say? Or would you just say,
Selenite's wonderful. Yes.
or just, or anything?
It's got to be what you're drawn to. There is no right or wrong, but there's always a reason. Like the first thing you're drawn to, that's what you really need. And that could be anything. It could, and the other thing is, like, the way it looks isn't as important. This is a lesson for all parts of life. It's more important how it feels than how it looks.
Yeah, there may be.
So, and I've got some stones on my site. So I definitely have some Lemurian seeds right now. I don't always have them, but.
Oh, you do? So people can go to your website and pick them up.
Yeah, if they go to pastlifelady.com and click on the gemstone link. And sometimes this is obviously, stones are 1 in a million, like each one is individual. So like on the seed crystals, I actually will sit and meditate and figure out which one is for people and things like that. So,
Okay.
and if
Well,
people
I
are
need
looking for
one.
specific things.
Okay.
Yay.
I need
Okay,
one. I'll
well,
go on there
they're
and
very
get one.
cool.
Yeah, I'll go on there and get one because I think it's really important. You guys, stones, rocks, I know it sounds crazy, but they're the most important thing. They have so much energy and they can change just everything in your house. I mean, when you walk in my house, you can tell because I have all these crystals and stuff like that. And you guys, before we get out of here today, don't forget to check out my website, nancyheralt.com. I do psychic readings. I am an empath. I do have a clear knowing. So go to nancyheralt.com. I have a calendar. You can just book on my calendar and you can get a psychic reading with me. Okay. I need to say that. Sometimes I forget to sell myself.
She's
Shelley,
very
thanks.
good.
Yes, I know. Shelley, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nancy. You're making a difference, girl. So keep
God
it up.
bless. Thank you. You are too. Hey, you guys, it's Nancy Yeralt. It's High Road to Humanity, and we will see you next time. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyeralt.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yeralt, High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.